President Tinubu's visit to France set stage for a new era of cooperation and growth.
Nigeria is ready to partner with France.
National Assembly makes headway on tax reform bills.
These bills aim to simplify the tax landscape.
Federal government launches CNG bus scheme to ease transportation woes in Abuja. A very good evening and thanks for joining us tonight on NTA Network News. I am Juma Yusuf. Joining me tonight on the news is Benny Adams, who will be bringing us some business news, and Francisca Bele will be bringing us the latest sporting news from the Africa Military Games holding here in Abuja. Remember, you can follow this news broadcast on all our social media displayed on the screen. We begin with the presidential visit to France, as President Bola Tinubu is nudging France to treat Nigeria as a strategic partner in efforts towards building ties that would boost the continent's prosperity. This was during his engagement on a state visit to France in honor of President Emmanuel Macron's invitation. State House correspondent Musbaud Anwahab reports that President Tinubu and his wife, Senator Oluremi, were accorded a grand reception in Paris.
A jinx of more than 20 years broken for Nigeria, with President Bola Tinubu being the first on a state visit to France after such a long time. And the grand reception for the first trade partner of France in sub-Saharan Africa was befitting as it was historic. Starting from the French Military Museum, the stature and status of Nigeria were depicted and greeted with military parade. Following that was another reception at Elysee Palace, the French presidential villa. And then to the bilateral meeting of government officials chaired by the two leaders and another bilateral meeting of business community. Afterwards, both leaders here announced of fruitful engagements. President Bola Tinubu assures of his government's commitment to improved security and business climates, as well as other socio-economic transformations. He, however, wants the French government to de-risk and promote measures that would further encourage partnership in other areas such as solid minerals development, education and agriculture, among others.
There will be no fear of learning. The more educated this population will be, the better and well-trained society. We have this responsibility that is unique to fighting terrorism. And no matter how much you invest in other African countries, you don't take Nigeria for a serious country and a partner in your crusade, you won't achieve the results. Nigeria is ready to partner with France so that we have a very robust security operation that will stop migration.
For President Macron, various reforms in Nigeria have gained the attention of the world and is committing his government toward making Nigeria a greater partner.
And with the President and his ministers, we have defined several new lines of actions for investment of French companies in Nigeria, of course, in the energy sector and also in the sector of rare metals and critical minerals, which are so necessary for the development of new technologies and, in particular, new decarbonized industries.
First Lady Oluremi presented some Nigerian traditional gift to the French president and his wife. In the end, the two leaders are apparently fulfilled and sure of greater cooperations, more mutually beneficial. From Paris, Musbao and Wahab, NTA News.
Now let's join our State House correspondent, still Musbao and Wahab in Paris, to speak on the parade accorded President Tinubu at the prestigious military museum there in France. And it is indeed a rare honor and the first to be bestowed on an African leader in many years. So tell us, how significant is this, and does that qualify as a major milestone in the president's treaty?
Yes, indeed, it was a big honor for Nigeria and President Bola Tinubu here in Paris today. And since 2000, there's never been any Nigerian leader on a state visit to France. So President Bola Tinubu has done that, coming for this particular state visit. And now that France is looking toward getting improved partnership with African countries, it has chosen Nigeria as one to be partnered with in so many areas that we mentioned earlier. And of course, you saw the ceremony accorded the president and his wife, but particularly the reception of the National Military Museum here in Paris. It was a significant one because in the history of the country, it has never been done for so many leaders. And we spoke to the French ambassador to Nigeria, Marc Fombastier, earlier, who said this is the greatest honor that can ever be done to any leader visiting France. So let's take a listen to what he told us earlier.
This state visit takes place in a special moment. It is the first state visit of an African leader since 2017. I think the last one who came was Alpha Condé. So it just shows the importance of Nigeria to France. So as an ambassador, I am honored and proud and so happy that we honor Nigeria in that manner.
There you go, Tate. So right now, as we speak, President Bola Tinubu is back at the Elysee Palace, the presidential villa, where he's being hosted to a dinner by President Emmanuel Macron. What another very big honor. That's it for now.
Thank you, Musbao and Wahab, our State House correspondent reporting from Paris. Now, moving on to legislative matters, the 4 tax reform bills forwarded by the President to the National Assembly have scaled second reading at the Senate. The proposed tax-related legislations are the Nigeria Tax Administration Bill, the Nigeria Revenue Service Establishment Bill, the Joint Revenue Board of Nigeria Establishment Bill, and Nigeria Tax Bill. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali tells us more.
These bills aim to simplify.
The Senate's leader, Okoyemi Bamidele, led the debate on the general principles of the tax reform bills transmitted by the federal government for consideration and passage. Embedded in the bills are provisions to ensure uniform tax administration in Nigeria and equitable distribution, where states are proposed to collect 55% of VAT, while basic items like food, electricity, medicine, educational and pharmaceuticals fall under tax exemption.
Contrary to misrepresentations in the public domain, apparently owing also, we must admit, to lack of adequate sensitization. These bills contain innovative and people-oriented proposals as part of government's deliberate fiscal and tax reform measures to cushion the effect of ongoing broader economic policies, such as the removal of subsidy on petroleum products, renewed efforts to implement cost-reflective electricity tariffs in the power sector, and etc. on Nigerian citizens.
My problem with the bills, I've said one, that is the timing. Number two, the issue of derivation.
When it is referred to the appropriate committee, especially at the third reading, all the gray areas and areas of concern by Nigerians and some concerned citizens should be addressed appropriately at that level.
The Governors Forum and traditional rulers are free to come and ventilate their opinion as to the pros and the cons of the bill before the public hearing.
In terms of giving Nigeria a legislation that will carry every sector of this country, we will do it.
Presidents of the Senate, while referring the bills to the Senate Committee on Finance for further legislative action, said all concerns will be addressed.
All the concerned groups in the country must be invited, the CSOs, the NGOs, and all concerned Nigerians, so that at the end, before it comes back here, for us to do further consideration clause by clause, Nigerians would have had the opportunity of making inputs.
He also read two communications from President Tinubu seeking confirmation of appointments of members of the Police Service Commission and those for a Code of Conduct Bureau. Meanwhile, Senate has held a valedictory session in honor of the Second Republic President of the Senate, late Senator Joseph Wyers, who died in November 2021.
In Cross River State, he remains a legend. I don't think the generations after him have been able to break his records.
He was a good example. Of course, that's why the president then, President Shehu Shagari, trusted him very well, had confidence in him, and decided to allow him to act as president.
Senator Joseph Wyers was appointed, was elected to the Senate at the age of 38, and possibly the youngest Senate president that we have witnessed.
I must say adieu, my predecessor. May your soul rest in perfect peace.
Late Senator Wyers was the president of the Senate from 1979 to 1983. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has resolved to continue consultations on the 4 tax reform bills. This resolution followed more than 2 hours of closed-door deliberations on the issues by lawmakers. National Assembly correspondent Mitere Ikpen reports that the House also confirmed the appointment of Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede as the substantive Chief of Army Staff.
For the most part of Thursday's plenary, lawmakers were in executive session. The crux of the matter is the 4 tax reform bills submitted by President Tinubu and the socio-economic implications. The bills are yet to be listed for second reading and debated in the House, but the leadership says consultations will continue among lawmakers.
The agreement that we had in that section was to continue our conversation. So this conversation is going to continue on Tuesday, from now to Tuesday, when we will have a special section where we'll invite these resource persons to be here in the House to engage us. Thereafter, we'll decide which way to go.
The House ad hoc committee that screened Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede for the position of Chief of Army Staff gave a stamp of approval that was ratified at the Committee of the Whole.
We questioned him on various issues, which included interagency synergy, civilian-military relationships. Our observation, sir, is that General Olatubosun Oluyede is fit and proper and gave a very good account of himself.
Meanwhile, the House Committee on Constitution Review says it will hold zonal public hearings to get the inputs of Nigerians on about 161 areas of constitutional amendments being proposed.
As a platform to consolidate ideas and strategies for achieving a robust local government framework.
The committee is assuring Nigerians that all political parties and interest groups will be carried along in the constitution review process. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
The news will continue in a moment. Don't go away. You're watching NTA Network News. The Action Against Hunger Consortium are working with its partners in Borno State to establish a shared understanding of the roles and responsibilities of parties involved in the implementation of a new recovery project, tagged Empowering and Nurturing Resilience, Integration and Community Health. Our correspondent Tope Alabi was at the joint project launch meeting in Abuja And now reports.
Enrich is an acronym of a new project tagged Empowering and Nurturing Resilience, Integration and Community Health in Borno State, awarded to a consortium, Action Against Hunger, ACF, by the United States Agency for International Development, USAID. This meeting brings together parties involved to strategize on inclusive implementation plans that will foster sustainable recovery and provide necessary humanitarian assistance to vulnerable populations across Gubbio, Magmeri, Mubar and Kaga areas.
We are happy the 2025-2026 consortium plan is being carried out alongside with our input. By God's grace, our vulnerable community will benefit from their plans.
This program is actually timely because most of the local government that are being tagged now are the most needed local government, the most hit local government. Some of the areas are so devastated and the people actually needs relief.
Our approach is for the intervention to be driven by the community because we believe that this will foster ownership of infrastructure that will be provided and all the services that will be provided. And then also we intend to collaborate very strongly with other humanitarian actors.
We expect to work very closely with the government so then we can have the required support to implement our projects, so then we can serve the required humanitarian assistance and deliver this to the vulnerable populations.
The major takeaway from this workshop is for the project to continue to strengthen protective environment for displaced populations and host communities by providing multi-sectoral assistance. In Abuja, Tokwe Alabi, NTA News.
And a new strategy to revitalize and reposition Nigeria's education has been unveiled by the Minister of Education, Maruf Olatunji Alausa, and that of State, Suwaibu Ahmed. Christiana Akande reports that the Education Sector Renewal Initiative 2024 to 2027 aims to align the nation's education system with global best practices. The report. The report will come in our subsequent bulletin. And now the annual symposium of heads of navies is underway in Abuja, and it is discussing key issues in the maritime domain. Declaring the symposium open, President Bola Tinubu, in a message delivered by the National Security Advisor, pledged continued support for Nigerian Navy operations and objectives to enhance security in the Gulf of Guinea, which drives the economies of more than 25 African countries. Defense correspondent Naja'atu Tijani reports.
Oceans apart, but uniting on Nigerian soil for a common goal, sharing best practices and coordinating efforts to create a safer maritime environment.
We believe that these discussions will take us another step forward in the achievement of our common objective of a peaceful, secure maritime environment, not only for the Gulf of Guinea, but globally. To read what Mr. President said I should.
Commending the Nigerian Navy for its role in increasing crude oil production in the Niger Delta and the Gulf of Guinea, President Tinubu makes a commitment for Nigeria to work more closely with other nations.
Through shared responsibilities and concerted efforts, we can effectively combat illegal activities at sea and unlock the immense economic opportunities our oceans and waterways offer.
France is playing a big role in supporting the symposium, which has been running for 8 years.
To have strong partners in the Gulf of Guinea is the best way to address all the challenges we have here. Illegal fishing, drug trafficking, piracy, bunkering, everything.
Naval chiefs at the symposium are also expected to enhance their collective ability to respond to maritime security challenges. Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
And let's bring you the report of Christian Akande that the Education Sector Renewal Initiative 2024 to 2027, which aims to align the nation's education system with global best practices. Let's hear the report.
Reports reveal that a large percentage of Nigeria's 60 million children aged 5 to 14 are out of school. Addressing development partners, the Minister of Education, Dr. Olatunji Alausa, emphasizes that these critical challenges are at the core of the new initiative.
We've looked at what all the development partners have done. We also, as a government, we have to take responsibility. We have to mobilize our investment and work with our development partners as well.
The Education Sector Renewal Initiative is designed to create a sustainable framework for enhancing access, equity, quality, and efficiency in education delivery across the country.
We also plan to implement or support the government through a series of programs we call HOPE. There are three HOPEs: HOPE Governance, HOPE Primary Healthcare, and HOPE Education.
Our work is aimed on mobilizing education to transform lives and guided by the mission to build peace and eradicate poverty and drive sustainable development.
This groundbreaking initiative, championed by the Federal Ministry of Education, is positioned as a key component in achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 4, which focuses on inclusive and quality education for all.
The immediate past Deputy National President of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Comrade Al-Hassan Yahya, has emerged as the new president of the union after a keenly contested election at the 8th Triennial National Delegates Conference of the NUJ held in Owerri, Imo State. Beatrice Ayem reports.
The immediate past Deputy National President of NUJ, Comrade Al-Hassan Yahya, emerged winner of the keenly contested election with 336 votes to defeat his closest rival, Dele Atumbi, who polled 97 votes, while Garba Muhammad polled 39 votes. Other members of the new executive were all returned unopposed.
Provide all the requirements according to the Constitution of Nigerian Union of Journalists. Is hereby returned elected as the president of NUJ.
In this election, no victor, no vanquish. We are going to open doors for those that we participate in this election. And I want to assure you, we want to prioritize issues around insurance for journalists in Nigeria.
The outgoing president of the union, Conrad Chris Isuguzo, tasked the new executive on sacrificial leadership.
Every other person must close ranks with the new leader.
Promote ethical deposit, command the spread of disinformation, and ensure that all journalists are equipped with the skills and knowledge.
They should also show interest in how to make leaders espouse the right values in their behavior and utterances.
The event featured award of fellows of NUJ to former national presidents of the union. In Owerri, Beatrice Anyam, NTA.
Congratulations to the new NUJ ESCO. Now, speakers at the 2024 annual conference organized by the FCT chapter of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations have stressed the imperatives for purposeful leadership that utilizes effective communication for the deliberate economic transformation in Nigeria. Francis Udojo reports that the event was graced by top government officials and media experts.
Annual conferences organized by the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations are usually devoted to addressing issues of national interest with a view of creating pathways to purposeful leadership and economic viability. For NIPR, image making and effective communication link will make the people imbibe this culture.
If you have not built the resilience of the reputation of your nation in a manner that it will attract that respect, that people take it seriously, they will not come here to invest.
We intend to begin to raise the consciousness of Nigerians towards the concept of leadership.
For a leader to effectively transform his society, he or she must be able to show and express such leadership traits as vision, critical thinking, strong communication, emotional intelligence, and ability for collaboration. It cannot be an island.
His Excellency, Mr. President, is poised and committed to provide local leadership and driving the programs and the initiatives geared towards Nigeria's economic recovery and transformation.
The speakers believe Nigeria getting a transformed economy could be achieved through a democratic process based on meritocracy. Francis Udojo, NTA News.
The Senior Special Assistant to the President on Special Needs and Equal Opportunities, Mohammed Abba Issa, and the Steering Committee for the upcoming 2024 International Day of Persons with Disabilities are finalizing plans for the commemoration of the International Day. The celebration is aimed at promoting inclusivity, empowerment, and equal opportunities for persons with disabilities in Nigeria. Ngufan Shaji Ngwai reports.
The Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Special Needs and Equal Opportunities is set to commemorate the 2024 International Day for Persons with Disabilities with a 2-day program.
This initiative is part of our unwavering commitment to fulfilling the mandate given by His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to prioritize the inclusion, welfare and empowerment of persons with disability across the nation.
This meeting with the steering committee is part of Mohammed Abba Issa's efforts to ensure a successful and impactful celebration which will bring together policymakers, duty bearers and advocates to deliberate on strategies for fostering inclusivity and empowerment for PWDs.
We have invited Her Excellency Senator Oluremi Tinubu as Mother of the Day. She is mother of the whole Nigerians, but mother particularly to persons living with disabilities.
In all that is being done, it is to not just make unnecessary noise, but noise that will have an impact.
The event, scheduled to take place on December 2nd to 3rd, 2024, will feature an awareness walk, rally and advocacy symposium in Abuja. Gufan Shaji Ugwanyi, NTA News.
There's more after the break. You're welcome back. And now it's time to bring in Benny Adams for business news. Hello, Benny. What's happening in the world of business?
Thank you, Jumai. So much more for electricity users in Nigeria. I'll start by telling you that the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, says it has spent approximately 8.8 billion naira to repair 128 vandalized transmission towers across the country. TCN revealed that these towers, destroyed by vandals or bandits, have been restored to functional use despite security challenges. Those affected were Shiroro, Mando, Kaduna, Towers, Yobe and Borno that were also disconnected from the national grid, among others. And on the flip side, the federal government has announced a partnership with the World Bank and the African Development Bank to provide electricity access to 50 million Nigerians by the year 2030. And now taking a look at energy, at this particular point in time, oil prices edged lower in Asian trading on Thursday after a surprise jump in the U.S. gasoline stocks ahead of the nation's Thanksgiving holiday sparked worry over demand and the top consumer of motor fuel. Looking at the numbers, U.S. gasoline stocks rose 3.3 million barrels ahead of the nation's Thanksgiving. And looking at the Brent crude, the next page, looking at the Brent crude also appreciated at this particular point in time. From the Brent, you talk about the West Texas Intermediate. The West Texas Intermediate also appreciated, all by some kind of percentages at the market. Brent crude futures actually fell by 4%, 4 cents to $72.79 a barrel. And looking at the West Texas Intermediate, actually advanced it was lower by $68.71 a barrel. Well, that is it on the energy market. Looking at Nigerian Stock Exchange at this point in time, markets bounced back with all share index up 0.50% this Thursday, giving investors 306 billion naira gains due to renewed interest in some stocks. Looking at the numbers, the all share index advanced from yesterday. Yesterday we're down 0.35%, but today we have a marginal appreciation of 0.50 percentage point, taking our number of deals today 8,404, a little bit lower from 9,385 as of yesterday. Looking at equity capitalization, is 59.2 billion, an appreciation from 58.9 trillion naira. The oil share index for today is now 97,783.81 basis points. A little bit appreciation from yesterday where we had 97,639.88%. That is it on the market, as the market breadth also closed flat with 29 gainers against 28 losers, and actually 64 equities remained unchanged. Thank you, Jumai. This is it on business.
Thank you, Benny. Finally, residents of Abuja will begin to enjoy subsidized transportation across major areas within the Federal Capital Territory as the federal government officially launches and hands over some CNG buses to operators for commercial purposes. Momso Damien Dati gives us details.
The making of another milestone achievement in the transportation sector, attracting key players from all over Nigeria to the Eagle Square, Abuja.
To the glory of God and to the welfare of Nigerian citizens.
Promises made, promises fulfilled.
The handing over of 15 CNG-powered buses to NURTW, Retain and NATO as part of the presidential Renewed Hope Clean Energy Transport Scheme to ease the burden of fuel subsidy removal, which will ensure that Nigerians can access clean, more affordable energy solutions that reduce transport costs for operators and commuters alike.
The National Union of Road Transport Workers, Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners, and Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria, amongst others.
I would like to use this opportunity to appreciate President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for this initiative.
Today's launch represents a forward-thinking response to rising costs of transportation and a bold step towards energy diversification and environmental sustainability.
Transportation is the backbone of any economy. It connects people to opportunities, services, and essential resources.
The scheme is set to be replicated in all the states of the Federation. Momso Damien Lati, NTA News.
The Minister of Women Affairs, Imam Suleiman Ibrahim, has expressed confidence in the 10th Assembly to prioritize laws relating to the safety and welfare of Nigerian women. The minister stated this at the National Assembly complex, where she led a delegation of Nigerian women to interface with the legislators as part of events to mark the 16 days activism to end gender-based violence. Ngozi Technical reports.
As part of awareness campaign to sensitize the public to take a stand against all sorts of violence against women and children, Nigerian women, led by the Minister of Women Affairs, embarked on a road walk. With different inscriptions, the women marched to the National Assembly and they were received by the Speaker, Tajuddin Abbas, who assured them of adequate partnership in empowerment and other legislative issues. With excitement, the women said their hope is bright with the 10th Assembly.
All are aware of all the bills they have been pushing for and the ones that they have enacted, that they have signed into law. And you heard the Speaker, he said it loud and clear that the legislative will work with all arms of government, the executive and the judiciary, to ensure that our women are safe.
We cannot fight for the women without legal backing. So we need the support of the National Assembly.
In continuation of the 16 days of activism, the Ministry of Women Affairs was lit with orange to signify hope for a safe world. Ngozi Technical, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NIPR, is actively involved in this year's advocacy against gender-based violence. NIPR has also staged a sensitization and awareness work to highlight the impact of gender-based violence in the society. Amina Baba Suleiman reports that NIPR is collaborating with the German government to combat human trafficking.
This is a sensitization work organized by the management and staff of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NIPR, to commemorate the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. The aim is to raise awareness about relevant government laws against gender-based violence and to encourage victims to speak up. The campaign commenced at the Federal Ministry of Justice and concluded at the Unity Fountain, where NAPTIP's Director General, Binta Adamu Bello, highlighted the urgent need for collective action to combat gender-based violence.
We believe that by coming together in solidarity, we can amplify our voices and drive home the message of our objective. Violence against persons is unacceptable and must be eradicated.
In the meantime, NAPTIP is working with the German Embassy in Nigeria to combat the menace of human trafficking. The German Embassy has renovated a training resource center and handed it over to NAPTIP.
Your dedication to protecting the most vulnerable members of our society, your relentless efforts to dismantle trafficking networks are commendable. The fight against human trafficking requires unwavering commitment, and I commend each of you for your courage and resilience.
NAPTIP, on behalf of the federal government of Nigeria, expressed the willingness of the two nations to continue to work together in addressing the negative impact of trafficking in persons in our countries.
Director General of NAPTIP, Binta Adamu Bello, emphasized the necessity of training and collaboration among stakeholders to effectively combat human trafficking. In Abuja, Amina Baba Suleiman, NTA News.
The Nigerian Television Authority has pledged its support to promote social change through diverse content programming that engenders inclusion for women. This was during a courtesy visit by the President General of the Nkata Ndi-Inyom Igbo Group, Josephine Anene, to the management of the NTA in Abuja. Ruth Agwele reports.
The conversation around issues affecting women across different fora that inspires actions to advance gender equality has continued to gain momentum as different groups continue to advocate for transformative actions to strengthen women's capacity. One of such groups is the Nkata Ndi-Inyom Igbo, a women's group who are advocates of social change for women. The group, led by the President General, Inyom Josephine Anene, seeks partnership with the Nigerian Television Authority towards the planning of a national conversation slated for 3rd December. A conversation that is expected to bring women of different cultures together to give them an opportunity to amplify their voices and play active role in decision-making.
In health, agriculture, mining, anywhere, you will find that Nigerian women, we must get ourselves together and start partnering with our leaders and everybody, showing interest, active interest in what is happening around us.
The Director General of NTA, Salihu Abdulhamid Bembus, who was represented by the Executive Director of Programs, Tari Taylor, pledged support to continue to promote the virtues and values that the group is championing, especially conversations that promotes gender inclusion.
As you have rightly pointed out, women are doing incredible things, but we shy away from, maybe we don't want to toot our own horn, maybe we just feel the work should speak better, and we can certainly guarantee that NTA will be there. I can already identify some of our programs that align with these topic and things that we want to do, and on behalf of our DG, we pledge our support. Because we are committed to amplifying women's voices here at the NTA.
The theme for this year's conversation is driving transformation through value reorientation, inclusive leadership and sustainability. Expected to be the game changer for reorientation among women for sustainable development. In Abuja, Ruth Agwele, NTA News.
We take another break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Now, athletics event delivers spectacular performances alongside combat sport and volleyball at the Africa Military Games in Abuja. Francisca Bello tells us more on AMGA update.
Many thanks for joining us on the African Military Games 2024 update. I am Francisca Bile. As AMGA 2024 gets to its business end, the energetic ambience at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium is filled with thrilling contests that highlights the top talent of Africa. The main bowl, track and field events delivered captivating performances across various categories. In the women's 200 meters final, Ghana's Mary Bioki earned another gold medal, achieving a remarkable time of 24.07 seconds.
I do is listen to my coach. Whatever he told me, I do perform it, that's all.
In the men's 200 meters, Ghana's Shaibu Mariza triumphed with a swift time of 21.22 seconds. The challenging men's 3,000 meters steeplechase saw Simon Kwach from Kenya emerge as the champion, finishing in 8 minutes and 36 seconds. Uganda's Chemuta Leonard claimed the silver, while Algeria's Bauchicha Hichem secured bronze. Ethiopia dominated the women's 3,000 meters steeplechase, with Wekoha Ward Emmanuel taking gold in 9 minutes and 43 seconds. Her teammate Kebebe Shumet got silver, with Kenya's Messi Wajiru claiming bronze. In the men's triple jump final, Burkina Faso's Lau Yakuba clinched gold with an impressive leap of 15.79 meters. Kenya's Kibret Kemoy claimed silver, while Algeria's Boldaumi Diacheref captured bronze. At the Mansa Velodrome, Nigeria amassed an outstanding total of 7 medals in the judo finals. In kickboxing, participants from the Nigerian Armed Forces, Bekimbo Tamuno in the -67 kg, James Charles in the -86 kg, and Thank God Abba in the +91 kg, defeated their South African opponents Peter Ledivaba, Zesa Memela, and Mboso Abba, respectively, to win gold medals at the ongoing African Military Games in Abuja. At the Package B section, Team Nigeria will have to battle Ghana for bronze on Friday evening after the hopes of claiming gold or silver in the men's volleyball event were dashed following a second loss, this time against Kenya, who won by 3-1. Kenya then went ahead to beat Sierra Leone in 3 sets to claim silver, while there were no troubles for eventual gold medalist Algeria, who continued their dominant performance with a convincing 3-0 victory over Sierra Leone.
We knew Nigeria is a very good team, and being that they are playing at home, we had to try to bring our A game, at least to match their game.
In the gymnasium hall, it was completely a Nigerian showdown in the men's category of the table tennis, with both teams defeating their Ghanaian opponents in the semi-finals to set up a final clash. In the women's category, Team Nigeria defeated Ghana in 3 sets to secure gold medal. And just before we go, let's take a quick look at the medal standings, where Team Nigeria are the runaway leaders. The nearest challengers are Team Algeria, while the 3rd spot is occupied by Kenya. That will be all on AMGA 2024 update for now. I am Francisca Bile.
Thank you, Francisca. And that's all on NTA Network News tonight. Thanks so much for your time. I am Jummai Yusuf.